Hey everyone, it's Mary with another Midlife Chronicles. Today we're going to talk about it's time to write your story. Now, it's not your whole life story. We're looking at one snippet because once we take life in small bites, things can catapult into some really great things. So we're going to look at one story today. So if you don't write your story, somebody else is. Somebody else is going to take up your time. You're going to use somebody else for an excuse, and then you're going to say, oh, woe is me, my life sucks, here I am still stuck, when in all actuality, if you take all of that focus and bring it back on yourself, then you can begin to make change. So today we're going to start that, and we are going to look at writing your story, because life experiences happen. They bring us joy, love, anxiety, scarcity, fear, trauma, exuberance, awe, all of that together, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today you get to take a look at that and take one story and begin to rewrite it. So now might be a good time to go grab your pen and paper and get right down to it. So I'm in Portland, Maine today. It is freezing cold up here, but nonetheless, we are going to get started on our journal for today and see what our heart spills out for us. Good? You good with that? So let's get started. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mary Lynch. I am the founder of Braving Midlife, which is all about the transitions in life that women go through, which are many, and how to use these transitions to learn about ourselves, dig deeper, and become the next best version of ourselves. Good? Let's get going. So what if I told you if you could use all of those negative stories that you have pent up inside of you, that you remunerate on day after day, hour after hour? What if I told you that you could use those actually to your goal, to drive your goals forward, so that you could take a look at them and see just how fabulous you are, even though you might not recognize it right now, right? So let me just share this thought with you. If you could take a negative story and see that actually that negative story has done something for you, that negative instance, that trauma, that hurt, the pain, whatever, somebody said something, somebody did something. What if I told you you could take that and actually use it for good? Would you believe me? Let's see. So let's take a look at this. I want you to take a big, deep belly breath so you can clear your mind, because a lot of you might be thinking, that I'm full of it, which, maybe I am, but I've learned a few things along the way. So let's try and clear your mind by taking a big, deep belly breath. Feels good, doesn't it? To kind of like stretch. Makes me feel good anyway. And I want you to just close your eyes. Just do it. Just do it. Just close your eyes. And I want you to travel back in time to a story. One story where somebody did something, where you would say somebody did something to you, hurt you, caused you embarrassment, shame, fear, guilt. A story where if you could get rid of that story, that you could see that by releasing it, you would be able to move forward, that you wouldn't have to take up so much mind space on that thinking. How would that feel? One story. And it doesn't matter. It could have happened today. It could have happened yesterday. It could have happened 5 years ago. It could have happened when you were 2. It doesn't matter. That one story that you keep going over and over in your head, that if you could release it, then it might make a difference in how you approach life, how you approach a day, people, your world. Anyway, grab a hold of that event and feel it. And it might not feel good, and your heart might start to race, and your mind might go into some dark places. Let's take a look at where your mind is going and where it shows up in your body. Like sometimes for me, it will show up my shoulders. I'll end up holding up my shoulders and I don't even realize that I'm doing that until I take a big deep breath and I realize, oh my God, my shoulders are up at my ears. Or I might be squeezing my butt cheeks together and my low back. I was at the masseuse the other day, and she dug into my glutes and she was like, oh my God, girl, you are holding so much tension here. So take a look at where all of that, where all those feelings come from. And it could be a good event. It could be that you're thinking about a happy event. Most likely for the majority of people that are going to be on this call or watching this video, you're going to lean toward the negative, because it's just what we do as humans. We kind of lean this way. We're not like, wow, this is great. We kind of end up leaning this way because these stories are just easier to believe, and that's just how it is. Good, bad, right, or wrong, it's just how it is. So take that story, you got it in your head, take that story. Now, so once you begin to feel it and see it, now I want you to write that story, just how it happened in your mind's eye. This is for your eyes only. It doesn't matter what you write, what you say, no one's gonna see it. Just pour your heart out. Now I only want you to write for 2 minutes. I'm gonna step aside and put on a 2-minute timer so that you can just let this go. Some people, it's going to bring up a lot of emotion that they might get teary-eyed. Some people are going to get angry. Some people will be sad. Some people could smile and laugh. It doesn't matter whatever that emotion is for you. I just want you to feel it. But I want you to write the story because I want you to see it. I want you to write the story in your own words, how you viewed it, whatever that other person or persons did to you, about you, with you, whatever that is. I want you to write about it. You've got 2 minutes. I'll see you then. Okay, welcome back. 2 minutes is up. So for those of you that still have a lot to say, still have a lot of energy that needs to get out on the paper, go ahead and pause the video and just get that done. Just get it all out. Don't wait for it. While you're in this mindset, just go ahead and pour it out and let that come down onto the paper. Go ahead, hit the pause button. For those of you that are not finished with your story, hit the pause button now and come back when you are through. Good? So for those of you that did finish your story, that are with me right back here, let's take a look at what you wrote. Let's take a look at how you feel, like how that story, where it sits in your body. Like recognize, like go ahead and take some time. These big deep belly breaths will help you to identify where that sits in your body, because most likely there's a whole bunch more stories in that same spot and you just want to recognize it. Because now we're going to take that story and we're going to begin to put it to good use. Believe it or not, we're going to put it to good use. So I want you to understand that whatever that story is, however much it hurt, however scared you were, you actually persevered. You're here. You're here watching this video. You're here with me on this call. You made it. You made it through, and that alone is powerful. You're powerful. This experience helped you, pushed you, made you do or be something different in that very moment. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So, who was that person? Take another big, deep belly breath. Let's clear it all out. Who was that person? Go ahead and pick up your pen again. Flip the page. Get a new, clean sheet. Now I want you to think back to that same story that you wrote. And I want you to think of who you were. How did you make it through that experience? How did you persevere? Who were you in that very moment? Were you brave? Passionate maybe? Confident? Scared shitless? Driven? What was it about that particular instance that guided you to be here right now? That focus, the strength that you had. What was the survival technique that you had to get through that? A divorce, a fight, verbal abuse, physical abuse. What was the survival technique that you had? And you might not even refer to it as a survival technique. It's just like something that you did. What did you do? How did you make it here? Because that, whatever it was, the focus, the strength, the courage, whatever it was, is still inside of you. It didn't just happen that one day and it just flew out the window. That is still part of you. And you can call it forth any time you want. You just need to recognize it. And that's what this session is all about, is allowing you to recognize the strength, the courage, the focus, the survival mode that you have been through to already get here. What was it? Who were you being at that very moment? You know who she is. Go ahead and write about her, and I'll see you right back here in 2 minutes. Okay, how did that feel? Welcome back. So for those of you, again, for those of you that are not finished reading your heroine story, then go ahead and pause this video. We're going to be right here when you're ready. Go ahead and pause the video and get right back to your writing. You want to get that. You want to get this story. You want to get this power story out, because if you don't write it, somebody else is going to. This has got to be in your words. It's your story. So you go ahead and get that out right now. Go ahead. Hit the pause button if you're not finished with your story. For those of you that are finished with your story, let's take a look at this. What did you find out about yourself? You can put it in the comments. You can send me an email, whatever. You write about it. What did you find out about yourself that you didn't know was there? You know, because things happen, right? Life happens, and we let it go on, and we never stop to see these things that we have already experienced, these great things about us that we have already been through. We don't stop to take a look at that. So now you get a chance. You put it, it's in your words, it's not mine. I had nothing to do with this. I'm just the guide. So what was it about you? Who was you? Did you imagine yourself as that you're so strong? Would you have ever used strong as a word to describe yourself? You know, that's why this is called Braving Midlife, because people used to call me brave for moving overseas. I didn't look at it as brave. I thought of it as a survival technique because I was pretty ill at the time. So what is it about you? Are you strong? Are you a survivor? Because now you're a survivor instead of a victim. Because if we just leave the story running as it is and going over and over it in our head, then we're in victim mentality. Now, when you take this story and you look at what you have accomplished, what you've been through, how you've grown, you end up talking about this event as survivor mode. totally changes the way you view yourself, the way you view the world, the way you view that other person. Because once you view yourself as the survivor, then you strip that person of their power hold on you. Isn't that nice? That's a great feeling, to take back your power. Who were you? And I like to think about this. Matter of fact, my husband and I were just talking about this today while we're visiting Maine, which is where I grew up, and I haven't been here in a few years. And I'm noticing things about myself. I'm noticing how much I've grown, how much I have become this different woman, right? If you met yourself on the street, would you recognize yourself? Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I have grown so much in the past 10 years of living abroad that I can't even associate with that person that was so scared and so shy and so timid. I can't even relate to that person. Who is it that you can't relate to? Like, what is it about you that is so different that you wouldn't recognize yourself if you saw yourself on the street, right? Just take a look at that and reclaim that voice. Just reclaim that voice, because that is who you really are, and that's your authentic self. Now, the third step in all of this is, once to kind of like solidify all of this in your mind's eye, we need to be repetitive, right? Because otherwise we're going to go back to habitual thinking. Habitual thinking is our negative self, our victim mode. Now we want to take a look at survivor mode and writing our own story. So we want to take some of these words and create affirmations, create I am statements. So I am brave. I am strong. I am a survivor. I am carefree. I am free. I am joyous. I am creative. I am passionate. What is it about you? So take a look at the survivor story or the heroine story that you wrote, and pull out those words. Pull out those words of growth, of clarity, of perseverance. Pull out those words and write 3 to 5 I am statements about yourself. Now, what I do with my I am statements is I write them on several pieces of paper, the same I am statements. I will put them on my dashboard in the car. I will put them on my mirror in the bathroom. I will put them on the back of my door, so when I'm leaving the house in the morning, I see one. It's always there. I'll put one on my computer screen. I'll put it on my desk wall, so that I am constantly getting that message back in my head to release that victim story and hold on to the survivor story. 3 to 5 of these affirmations from the story that you wrote. I didn't write it. You were the one that wrote the story. I had nothing to do with it. In your words, what are 3 to 5 I am statements? If you want to put them in the comments below, that would be super, so that other people can see, and maybe it's a word that they could use to describe themselves. So go ahead and put it in the comments, send me a message, send me an email, however you'd like, but let me know what you thought of today's session on telling your story in your words. I will see you right back here again next week for another Midlife Chronicle. I will see you soon. Wishing you an amazing week. Ciao for now.